Oh, well, that's an accident.
I'm trying to get
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, you're doing
my
great.
poker stars account logged in.
I was.
Welcome, Fiscal Court. I'm going to ask Thomas Bowden to lead us in prayer before we begin.
Sure. Let us pray. Dear most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time and hour that you've drawn us here to tend to the matters of county government. And Lord, we are thankful for those who are willing to serve in whatever capacity they're called. And we just pray that their servant's heart would be blessed this day, that they would seek your guidance, Lord, and ask for your mind to be their mind. And that we do what is pleasing unto you, glorifying to you, and good for those in whom we serve, Lord God. We're thankful for the country in which we live. We live as free people, Lord, and not everybody in this world gets to experience that at this moment. And we pray that you'll find us faithful, standing for those who are being oppressed and helping those who need help. May that start at our own home, in our own community, and give us strength to serve those who are abroad. Lord, we thank you for the revival that's taking place in Ashbury. We pray for your Holy Spirit to move amongst your people, Lord God, as that is continuing. And Lord, again, we thank you for the hearts of your people. Lord, we ask now that we would just be mindful of those in our community that are hurting. We lift them up to you, Lord God, and just pray that you'll use us to help them who are in need. Lord, we love you. Thank you for loving us. We pray this in the precious name of our Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order with the pledge of the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sounded good.
That's what I heard. It's amazing.
All right, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. Let's go ahead and roll through this. I need the approval of the minutes. I need the approvals for the January 24th, 2023 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilbeck,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Okay, next order of business is approved bills.
And supplemental there too. I think we have one supplemental, Judge.
Supplemental, yes.
$25.58.
Yes.
For travel reimbursement.
Yes. So you have the full bill claim and the supplemental, like I said, of $125.58.
Make a motion to pay the regular bills at $485,549.12 plus the supplemental of $125.38 as presented.
A second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any discussion on this?
We're still paying copper bands $1,500 a month for the sheriff's office. We still not know what all that covers.
I'm aware of what it covers. It covers all the technical issues that we have. They remotely log in to fix our computers. It also covers our software and our hardware.
So do we need that on top of Scott, or is there something specialized about that?
Yeah, the CJIS stuff that's run through the FBI and the state police, you have to have a certification to work on that stuff. I think Scott's looking into it.
They're also certified through our CAD system, and they're the ones who install the CAD system, which they work on their MUTs. They connect everything to our stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
I was looking at the parks contribution. I guess that's just, I don't know. Thomas, did you see that? I don't know what that is. It's like it's $1,000 to Russellville, $1,000 to Look, or $1,600 to Lewisburg, $1,600 to Evan. What is that?
It's our budgetary.
Is that on top of the request that they came to do?
No, that request that they come in to do, at least the last time, was Judge Chick had set aside a set amount for if you have a project and you come in and request it. I think that, asked Amanda, I'm pretty sure that that's just our regular.
Budgeted park contributions.
Is that a month or just a year?
The one for the city of Russellville is monthly, and then the other ones are annually.
Yeah, I see that.
So are you saying there's also money set aside for specific project requests in the budget?
Yes, so there's an additional amount on top of those amounts that is budgeted, and if the different park, cities come in and they request, you know, I'm gonna use this money for this specific project, then the court can decide, you know, okay, that's a valid thing, and we'll vote to approve it or not approve it.
So Russellville's in the past, it's budgeted for $25,000 for a specific project. And then Lewisburg, Adairsville, and Auburn is $8,000. And I think Green Ridge and Shaco's maybe $1,000. I don't know if there's something, they don't come and ask.
I don't think they have any.
But I don't like, Auburn's not in this right here, so I was just, I don't know, yeah, there's Auburn, he was on the next page, okay. I just don't remember seeing that.
Did you have any more on that, Jason?
No, I don't reckon.
Okay. There's no more discussion. Any more discussion? All right, roll call, please.
No.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right. Treasurer's report, please.
Okay, good morning, court. So the first thing that I have for you this morning is my financial statement ending January 31st, 2023. The balance in the general fund was $1,780,218.84. Road fund, $122,560.40. Jail fund, $183,561.23. LGEA, $80,814.54. Federal grants fund, $854.68. Solid waste recycling, $503,340.27. Parks and Recs fund, $752,152.67. Occupational tax, $7,506,848.87. Life skills, $153,942.53. 911 fund, $65,315.24. Health insurance fund, $757,923.09. County clerk storage fees, $23,585.36. ARPA fund, $5,279,341.52. National opioid settlement fund, $136,711.47. Special reserve fund, $4,190,089.70, for a total of all funds, $21,537,260.41.
Move to acknowledge.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have any discussion? Not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Ronco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
The next thing we have is the budget transfers that we need to have approved.
Motion to approve budget transfers as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Okay, and we need to have the first reading of a budget amendment. It's ordinance number 23220.02, amendment number 3. This is to amend in unbudgeted receipts received from various things. We're going to increase revenue code 134510 state grants by $17,685.00. Road fund 024514 transportation cabinet by $12,120. General fund 014733 insurance reimbursement by $3,654.92. Jail fund 034733 insurance reimbursement by $13,948.17, which will increase revenue code 01501540 sheriff maintenance vehicles by $1,142.60. General fund 015015-103 sheriff deputy salaries by $2,512.32. Jail fund 035101-103 deputies and matron salaries by $12,000. Jail fund 035101-340 jail vehicle maintenance and repair by $1,948.17. Solid waste fund 135212-446 2023 illegal open dump grant on Sawmill Road by $17,685. And road fund 026105-730 Iron Mountain Road emergency repair by $12,120.
Motion to approve first reading.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion?
Jason.
No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
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 Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And we need to have the second reading and adoption of budget amendment, which is ordinance number 023220.01, amendment number 2. This is to amend in unbudgeted receipts in the general fund 0145061, state reimbursement refund by $1,500. LGEA fund 044510, state grants by $1,900. General fund 014733, insurance reimbursement by $43,454. And National Opioid Settlement Fund 884760, National Opioid Settlement by $136,665.60, which will increase expenditure code in the general fund 015015-446, Sheriff ASAP grant by $1,500. General fund 015015-723, Sheriff motor vehicle by $43,454. LGEA Fund 045205-384B, spay and neuter grant by $1,900. And NOSF 889200-999 contingent appropriation by $136,665.60.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jason. Any discussion?
Amanda,
Yes.
what's on the budget report, what's on this transfer, the second readings on your national opioid thing is like $45 difference.
Second reading.
You got 136, 665.60,
Uh-huh.
and what's in the budget is, or what's in the treasurer's report is 136, 711.47.
It's drawn interest.
Oh, okay.
since we did this budget amendment. So these are the actual dollar checks that we received in hand, and then since then, it's drawn interest.
And Joe, we're still waiting on guidance to know what we can even use that money for, right?
It's out there. I'm going to suggest we wait a while to decide what we do, just because there are some other lawsuits out there, and I think it would be helpful for you all to know kind of a roadmap of what our total source of funds is going to be and on what schedule. But yeah, I mean, I can get that to you. Keiko's got a nice bit of information out there, but my suggestion would be to move slowly, because there are a lot of consequences to doing it improperly. They're also going to pass a regulation that addresses exactly how to spend it. I was in my county attorney conference last week, and we talked about it, and nobody had really started spending it. So my suggestion is usually in those situations not to be the first, because get you out there more on the edge, and I like to be conservative with our liability and make sure we're doing everything above board, and it might give us some good ideas of how to use it at the local level.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And I do have one cash transfer for you today. We need to transfer $260,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the LGEA Fund. And this is on the Whippoorwill Creek Bridge project.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion?
Where's Whippoorwill?
79,000.
No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Where's that?
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Amanda.
Amanda, that's a cost share, right? With
Yes,
that
sir.
bridge? With the county?
Next item up is road work request. Start with District 1.
District 1, continue maintenance. Appreciate everything, Kelly.
District 2.
I need to get a road sign put up at the beginning of D. Rogers Road, there off of Vic Road. I need a dead end sign on D. Rogers Road, for D. Rogers Road if you can. Put it on the right, the water line's up on the left, but put it on the right, it'd be fine, it'd be good. And also, I know it's not gonna help, but we need some fill material on the sinkhole on Logan Mill Road, right across from, you know where it is. Yeah, I've done it many times. Other than that, thank you for everything.
You know where the water line is.
Hey, thanks for taking care. No, received a thank you from the resident on Bean Road, thanking you for the road sign replacement. So I'm gonna thank you in advance for cleaning up all the flooding this morning, because I'm sure you're gonna be busy. But any maintenance, thank you.
District 4, just continue maintenance. Thank you for the cross tiles that's got put in. Everything looks good.
The young man that called me on Floyd Gibson was speechless that you got that right there the next day. Thank you.
District 6, continue maintenance. Thanks for everything.
All right, elected officials. Let's.
You gotta vote on it.
Oh, sorry. I got ahead of myself once again. Everything's been, we don't need a motion there.
Make a motion to approve.
There we go, thank you.
Second.
I got frustrated. We got a,
Libby done pulled that down.
yeah, she's, that's what she's there for, to protect me. I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, now we can move on to elected officials. Sheriff.
First, I need to get the fee report acknowledged.
Make a motion to acknowledge the sheriff's fee report for January of '23.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Crawford will second. Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Quick review of last month's activity. I didn't get everybody a copy, so I was just going to kind of touch through it. So for the month of January, we had 1,161 calls, 162 attempt to serves, 38 of those were warrants. We worked 38 automobile accidents, 100 routine patrols, 27 prisoner transports. The transport officer had 2,700 and some change miles for the month of January. So that's how many transports, how many miles he drove for the month of January as well. So questions?
Hey, what, clue me, what's waiting on court mean in the fees?
That's where the officers call out that they're 10-6 court. So it's just letting dispatch know if they're on duty that, hey, I'm at court. So that's what that is.
Waiting on court, yeah, I see where your question was.
Yeah. And they wait on court sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, that's all I got on that. If you have any questions, and I've got something else. I wanted to seek court's approval to apply for this grant. It's a rural tribal grant for, it's for body cams, equipment, or other, which is basically the support or new equipment. The purpose that we're applying for, we were looking at in-car cameras to go with our body cam system. So this is a matching grant. It's $2,000 per body cam. We figured 20 in-car cams, and basically they allow $2,000 per cam. So $40,000 grant. If the county approves, the county would match the $40,000. It's a matching grant. So I wasn't sure what court wanted to do on that, but it's basically an $80,000 project, but you know, we're supplying $40,000, the grant supplies $40,000.
So the current body, the body cams we just got like last year or whatever, I can't remember. They kind of, the car ones kind of tie in with that? Yes, it's all, you know, that's the view of the car. It also videos the inside of the cruiser as well. We're looking at a camera, they have one particular in-car camera system that also does license plate reading, which would be a great interdiction tool. As the vehicle travels, it's scanning plates as it meets, and it, you know, puts that on our MDT. Is a warrant. The registered driver may have a warrant. You know, it could be stolen. So it also tracks somewhat of vehicles. So a good example is like we had a rash of pharmacy burglaries around the counties. We had one that I know of in the city limits of Russellville attempt. With the license plate readers that Hoptown has at intersections, they had a whole slew of burglaries. They actually used that and was able to track some vehicles that they had gotten descriptions on from some of the burglaries, and are much closer to solving that ring of burglaries. So they're very valuable tools, but they are very expensive tools. So we're looking at it, but I'm not quite sure if we're ready to take that big of a leap yet, because it is a pretty big financial step.
I know with our current body cam system, we pay a yearly.
Yes, and if we don't go with, if somehow we don't work out the in-car camera system, that grant money can be used to help fund our current.
If we do this system, will our yearly fee go up?
It will, yes.
Do you know those numbers on that?
Sort of, but they're very preliminary, because they give you a number, and then when you dive a little bit deeper, then you find out about your storage fees and things like that.
See, like the
That's
cloud
where
storage we pay for now, it'd probably be double that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I was interested, if we had our own server, would that be a less of expense that we wouldn't have to pay?
Yep.
To them, because basically we're using an iCloud system through Axon.
When is this? Is this a time-sensitive deal?
It actually is. It has to be sent in tomorrow.
Is it a case that you can apply and then decline it if you?
Well, here's the thing. We can, if court's approval, and like I said, I didn't want to submit it because it's $40,000 that I would have to ask for you guys to match. If we don't do the in-car system, the way it reads, we could use it to supplement what we're doing with our body cams currently. I don't know if that's there is a benefit to me with that, but the project is looking at an in-car cam system that I was trying to maybe consider budgeting for the upcoming budget. So,
Well, if you can get some of the cost of what we're currently paid for out of this grant, that'll, free up some money, then you can do it out of your own money to do the.
okay.
Yeah, I don't see no reason to turn $40,000 free down, but I think I would like to know a little more about that. Well, like the yearly fees and stuff. I mean, that's very important to have.
Yeah, it is. I can tell you that the license plate reader system, camera system, from what just they give me it's a 5-year plan like we do on the body cam, was around $50,000 a year. Now,
is that what we're paying? What are we paying now?
20 and change, I believe. So, it's something I wanted to look at. I wanted to put some numbers together, but because of that deadline, I wanted to just present that. We can use it either way.
You think we could just use it this time for paying for our current body cams fees or whatever?
As far, because we checked, it says, our cost category was equipment, supplies, and others. It also indicated in another article I'd read that it could be used to supplement a current plan that you have. So, I mean, yes, there's kind of a dual role for it, whichever way the court thinks I should go with it is what I'll do. The main project was the in-car part is what I was seriously trying to project for an upcoming budget. And I'll have more numbers probably the next court meeting because we have to do a conference call to sit down and get the nuts and bolts and stuff, and we couldn't get that scheduled before today.
Well, if that grant's due tomorrow, I don't know if you got time.
Right. Well, now, like I said, we can submit it if court approves, and then if for some reason the in-car project doesn't work out, we can use this for our current body cam project to help supplement that bill.
Make a motion that we apply for the grant. We can make the other decisions in the future.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion?
It helps.
Well, the in-car cam system is very important, and if we can put the license plate reader in, and one option was, and that was every car type camera with the license plate reader.
So every
function.
vehicle has that.
So you've got 20 road?
Well, if we, yes, it would go. Now, we may scale that down somewhat to help reduce that if that's what I need, but, transport car, we included every car that someone's driving, so we may not put that in the detective car.
Is the license plate reader, is that like an extra thing?
Yeah, that's what makes that more. Just the standard in-car camera system was like $30,000.
So that's got that added in?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why. So that's the more expensive camera system because it has the capability of doing that. And that's just something that, I can educate the court with on more and see. But just the standard in-car is a little bit less expensive.
Does that scanning come in immediately rather than somebody have to call it? So that
No, it shoots right into our computers in our car and gives us an alert immediately
So that's
that if there's a
because
stolen
right now,
vehicle.
they are having to have that called in, and you've got that delay.
Yes.
Okay, there's your difference.
Yeah, and it's not a huge delay, but what it does is we can't constantly call a license plate in to check them. It ties the radio up. So with the camera system, the way it works, it's scanning, as many as you see.
immediately.
Yeah, so there's no tying up the radio, or you're trying to type on the computer to run a tag, which, you know, it's not supposed to do, but sometimes you can type it in, but again, that's a lesser amount of time. But, you know, they could go sit on 68 East or at an intersection on the bypass, and it would scan, you know, hundreds of cars in no time. So it's very useful technology in criminal and interdiction stuff. Because a car from Florida or Georgia may come through, and, you know, you don't know nothing about that car until you run the tag. So, you know, stolen cars come through all the time. And if you don't run the tag, you don't know it's stolen. Yeah.
Bigger deal.
All right, we have any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, I appreciate it, and I'll keep looking for more grants. This was just the one that popped up that was closest due.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Stacy Watkins,
Yes.
our county clerk. Morning.
I think we need to acknowledge my fee report. Should be there for you to see.
A motion to acknowledge the clerk's fee report.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcox,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I was just going to give y'all an update. I did go ahead and get the order put in for those e-poll books that y'all approved for me last time. We've got a scheduled date for them to arrive on March 31st. Also, I was going to let you know, I was able to get the cost knocked down to what they're going to allow per unit. So hopefully we'll get paid back 100%. Any questions for me? Anybody? All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Do we have any, I see Josh Toomey's not here. Nothing else from the jail? All right, well, we'll just skip over. You guys remember Josh and his wife? Their baby's still in the hospital, so remember them. Department heads, let's start with Ginger.
Good morning. Well, I bring some good news. I have a personnel action request. I'm wanting to hire Mackenzie Duncan, and she worked for me before, so she's coming back in, 3 years experience and certified. So I'm wanting to hire her back in at the 3-year mark, effective next Monday, or the 22nd, so. And I hired one more that's a new hire, so we're technically only 3 employees short. That's a long time since I have been able to say that.
I was going to ask, when was the last time you've been that close?
I can't remember. Of course, we're still trying to get them all certified, and that's what we're waiting on now. But
Well, like March or April is when it is?
April, I've got 2 going in April, and I've got 1 going in July. And then I've got another new hire that's never dispatched before that starts on Monday. So hopefully August for her. We'll get it. It's,
So they just do the academy twice a year?
no, they do it every month, but they were full.
Oh,
They're full. The academies are full. I know the sheriff's department's having trouble too, or the PD. All the academies are like months out.
It's like in the summer or fall,
Mhm.
if we apply today, they're trying to.
So she had 3 years experience whenever she left?
Yes.
Morning in, but,
How old is she?
she's getting line and wait.
She's young, 20,
There's a boy.
26 maybe. I can't,
She formed
no, she's young. Of course, I'm the old one up there now, so.
You said it, no.
I know, they remind me of that all the time. They tell me all the time, well,
I wasn't born when you started dispatching. I said, well, thank you so much.
That's funny.
I said, yes, but I started so young that I'll be retiring way before y'all.
Well, I just have them watch and learn.
That's right.
Make a motion to approve the personal action request. Mackenzie Duncan, credited 3 years experience, should be in Schedule LC-EC-1S1.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Do I have any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Okay, I got some more stuff to go.
And I didn't have time to get it in before they could get it voted on y'all's.
Ginger, I'm gonna get this.
Thank you, Ginger.
Squeeze myself right through here. And I worked on an SOP for the cows. And I also included, the second thing is the CAD where we did the test. And as you can see, Auburn did not work when we did the test. However, we have had it worked on since then and tested it again and it worked. So, but I called Russell as soon as it didn't go off, but I had people reporting in to me. But I just printed that so y'all would have it.
They talked about that at City Council.
But Russell did go down the very next, or on that Monday morning and worked on it. And we did a test Monday afternoon and it worked.
This past Monday afternoon.
It was right after the, I guess it would have been like the 6th.
Okay, the Monday before.
And next month is the national, or where we do the statewide tornado drill, and it's on the 1st. So I won't do it the first Saturday of the month because I'll do it on the 1st at 9:07. That's the time that they always designate for us to do it. So I won't do the one on that Saturday because we're going to do it ahead of time.
Does the cows all go off if any warning is in the county? So like if
We set them off. The only ones that we can't, that we don't set off are the one at
City of Russellville?
City of Russellville, and they do theirs. And I have been working with City of Russellville. In fact, they're looking at putting in some more sirens, so the guy come down and talked to me about making it where when we set them off, we set them all off. Because, I mean, you know, if it happens where the city fire department is out on a run, when they get something, they can't set it off. But,
I was just wondering, like, you know, if the warning was issued, say, for North Logan.
yeah, it goes everywhere. That's the only thing about it, is it goes all over the county, because sometimes it'll be real nice in one end of the county and storming in the other.
So when you press the button per se, it does the 5 locations?
Yes,
You can't
that's the 5 that we
control
set
it.
off, and Russellville City will set off there too.
So I talked to Derek, and he said that, you know, there's a card in there that's got an antenna on it, and it's got a certain frequency, and when they hit that frequency, it's when it sends them all off. So it's connected to the radio system. But I was wondering, so some of these are very old. So is there any kind of schedule set to where, like, we have some sort of replacement schedule?
Well, there hasn't been, because we've just really tackled this in the last couple of months, because I just really realized how old they were.
Because, I mean, it's the first time I've heard about the tornado system since I've been on court.
Right, and so I do have a quote, because City of Russellville was working on it, so the guy said, I'll be glad to send you a quote as to how much a new site would be. And I mean, they're not cheap, but I thought it might be something that we might want to look at. I'd like to, if at all possible, I'd like to add 2 more sirens.
We need one at Chandler's.
One at Chandler's and one out in Dot. I'd like to have those 2, and then, maybe we could start doing a yearly.
If we were to change one out so first we need to get the ones we need. But if we were to change one out every other year, and we had, how many, so we have 5 now.
We have 5 right now, and that would be 7.
If you change one, if you change one every other year at 5, you would have a 10-year rotation on eventually.
Right.
So I think some of these are.
Some of the, especially,
20+ years old, I don't know.
Well, they're older they've been here since early 2000s.
But the life expectancy on them may be 25 years. I don't know.
I really don't have, do you have
Right.
any idea? Mm-mm. Because me and Derek just started tackling it because we were like, okay, because I had talked to, me and Terry had been talking about it, and nobody seemed to know what was supposed to be, well, I won't say nobody seemed to know who was supposed to be doing it, but the person that was supposed to be doing it is no longer here. So we decided that we were going to take over and make sure that it gets taken care of.
I think that's one question to ask, is like what's the normal life expectancy of a brand new cow system? What's the number for a new one?
I don't want to say it out loud. Come on. I don't want to see all my kids. Let's see.
Well, the ones that are out there now
Does
are
that
18
include-
years old.
Does that include electrical service, you think, or is that gonna be?
But are they end of life?
I figured
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're lasting longer than
Does that,
maybe what
does that
y'all think.
include?
That's
electrical service?
All I
installment
know is when
and
we took 'em
everything.
over.
Because this is the
Says
quote
we
they
took it
sent
over in
to
2006.
Russell,
Yeah,
Paul.
they're older than that.
We
How old are they,
never
Terry?
replaced them.
Yeah.
You know how old
Terry,
they are?
yeah.
2006 is when they put in.
Okay.
22.
Do you guys have any idea of the life expectancy?
It's not as bad.
I thought he said 2006.
Well,
Each side.
a lot can change technology-wise in 10 years, though.
Right. You know,
Because, Derek, was you saying that the ones we have now, you can't separate which one you send off, but the new ones you can?
Yeah, so they were saying that the new ones, they could actually set off different zones in the county.
And they can also do a daily, or however we want it, tested, a silent test. Where they test it, it doesn't go off, nobody knows it's going off, but it reports. Kind of like how Derek can log in and see, you know, what's going on with the radio. They'll be able to do that, and it would be nobody would even know they were doing it. And they would
Okay,
just
but
send me
that
a
would be if
report.
everybody has a new system.
That would be with the
Because all
whole
the
new,
old
the
systems
old ones are
would
not gonna
still
do
be-
that. Hmm.
Old system, you send out one signal and everybody's going.
Yeah, the old system is still old school.
So
I
if you
mean,
put new
basically.
in, you're dealing with two systems, two new ones.
I mean, unless we do, it would be, in order to do this, it would be, if we do one every other year, we're looking at 15 years where we could test them all together, you know, but,
So we need to get a quote on seeing what it would cost to replace. That's a new site.
that's a new site. Well, that would be replacing what we have at the site. That's how much it would
So
cost.
there's literally no infrastructure value of what we've got?
No, it's basically just all on the, Derek, there's not like any infrastructure really, is there? It's just,
No, I think the ones they quoted was when they, all electronic, there wasn't no mechanical.
no.
Or like,
Yeah,
And
so-
it's the ones that are gonna be, you know, they rotate, so you'll get more of a,
use their power.
So there's
all
no
around.
value to the current infrastructure that we have. So that quote right there is whether we put a brand new one up or whether we replace an existing one with new.
We'd have to check on that.
Okay. I mean, there's gotta be some type of,
Yeah, you would think there's some cost.
well, of course, see, Adairville's is new. Adairville's is fairly new. It's less than a couple years old.
Upgrading what they have now to match this.
No, we were just saying that, you know, there's some costs just to bring electrical service to each site. And if you're replacing one, you wouldn't have to duplicate that service.
But
That
the new-
cost
But the
would
new
be-
one, we would have to.
Yes, the new one would be.
But I know Adairville, Russell just put theirs on when they moved the station, so it's less than 5 years old. How long's it been there? 2 years, 2, 3? Okay.
So
Time
what
runs
does it
together.
cost- What does it cost to add a site? I understand that number. A new site, one in Dodge, one in
27.
Chandler.
We would just have to find that's
no,
just,
that's the new site.
No,
that's a new, that's a
site.
whole, that's all the equipment for the new site, for a site. Because they won't use any of the equipment we have at the other sites either.
So what
So-
does it go with?
We would have to put it on something.
That's what I'm asking.
Had to be.
You got to have electrical source closed or you're gonna be running lines across
Right.
the field. You don't want to stick out there someplace.
That's what I'm getting.
So it's gonna cost more for,
We've already had the school board told we could.
Put it on the
we could
school.
set one off, So we could put the one in Chandler at the Chandler school.
Probably looking
So
at
you've got electrical source right there.
and then we'd find,
That was Rockport for years ago.
that's for, putting the whole new stuff in
No,
to match.
that's everything, right?
No, that's not a site, if we have a place to put it,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be. I mean, of course, I didn't dig too deep into this because we hadn't
Yeah.
decided to do this. This is just the quote he had actually sent me. I just kind of piggybacked on the city of Russellville because they were doing it, and he come by and talked to me.
If we're talking about new sites also, Brad is pushing grants towards new systems at this point. So I'll look into that. I'll get with Brad and see what's available and see what options
I mean,
are
there's
out
got to be
there.
something out there for these, some type of grant available.
Yeah, Brad has been pushing those pretty heavy.
But
so.
I think we do need to start updating this stuff.
Yeah, I would like to push forward in getting the 2 new locations, but, you know, do it strategically.
Well, I think before we do that, we need to make a decision. Are we gonna replace the existing 5? So is there value? I don't have the answer. Is there value
In what we
if
have?
all 7 are functioning the same
On the same
software
system,
and
yeah.
the same system? You know, it's relatively, and I know it's expensive, but it ain't that expensive.
Right.
You know, we're not talking about $1 million to do that. And, you know, so that would have to be determined. If you're just adding 2 sites, then you just use the same type of stuff we got now, and that's it.
Do they make
Probably you
it?
can't buy the
But
new
if-
stuff we got now.
Do they make the stuff we have
But if
now?
you're trying to make them all communicate, then we need to have a discussion to add 2 sites along with replacing the 5 sites.
Should compare the 2.
Nothing to compare. I think it's just a decision. Which way do you want to go? Do you just want to add 2 sites? Or do you want them all to work in unison?
Okay, my question is, Adairble's is only 5 years old.
Or less than 5 years old.
But even then, it's not compatible with the new ones.
We don't know that.
We don't, theirs is, it's the
Was that the question you already asked and I
same
missed?
company,
No,
isn't it? I would have to talk to Adairble and, because I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that they put up the same brand.
So it possibly
It possibly could be used with the new
All other
system.
places included new.
Yes.
So we're talking about 6 new ones and maybe 1 old one. 5 years. Because you got 7 if you count these 5.
Yeah, we've got 5 here, you know, but
But 2 new ones.
2 new ones.
That'd be 6.
Be
I think we
six.
need to get clear numbers and discuss it the next.
Okay.
court meeting.
Agreed.
Don't you, Tommy? And get
Yeah, I
more
mean,
solid
I
numbers.
don't want to do something without a clear. game
No, I
plan
just
of
wanted to
what
bring
the-
y'all up to date on
Yeah,
what
no,
was going
that's
on.
good information. And I don't know why with technology we got it, I don't know why the 5 can't be separated now, but I don't know about that stuff.
I think it's probably too old.
Derek was telling me it was too low to do that.
Okay, so there just ain't no way to do that.
Some of them are too old.
And also, he said even if you had to program those older ones, you had to have like an old computer or something, you don't know if you could even program it.
Yeah, maybe 20 years of computer technology.
Yeah.
They used, you know, back then the program, we don't have it.
All right.
Well, I'll do some more research on it. I just wanted to bring y'all up to date and let you know that we did work on the Auburn one again. So it did go off, so hopefully
Why
we'll
907?
do it.
You said 907.
That's just the time they've always used, is 9:07.
There's probably a reason.
It's 9:07 this time, I don't know, the state sends me an email, I get it.
Sometimes
You do
it's
it.
13. We just do what we're told.
I just think that's an interesting time. Just curious. Anyway.
Yeah, and that way, and I'll make sure the paper has that advertised, and we usually go ahead and like call the health, you know, the nursing homes and all that, so they know ahead of time that it's a
Not to be
test.
worried.
Yes.
So the last meeting, did we tabled the thing about the $2,500 totally, or did we pay the one-time?
I think we did the 1 year,
Okay.
didn't we? With Russell?
No,
don't even know what you're
no, we tabled that.
Oh, okay.
We tabled the yearly maintenance fee.
But right now, we could really
tabled
use it with
that.
him having to work on all these.
But I think we got some stuff to figure out before we come up with a maintenance plan. But I think maybe we could do it the one time, just to make sure everything's up.
Well, I've been working with Russell and with Derek, and then we also worked with the people who are working with the city of Russellville just to see, because they had more knowledge about the sirens than I did. And they're trying to kind of educate me on what I need to know, so.
Okay, so can we get him to go out and check the other sites? Just make sure the batteries and electrical and all that's good?
Yes, if, you know, we'll
So
just,
we want to do that.
we want to do the 1 year.
One time, I don't want to
Yeah.
sign up for a yearly right now, because we still got some stuff to work out. We add a site, we might add 2 sites, I don't know, you know, so.
I'm 100% fine with the one-time
Yeah.
deal.
You think is that quote still good, that $2,500?
I'm pretty positive that he'll,
Huh?
Should have been 30 days.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Russell will honor that.
$2,500 for 30 days.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
the
usually the
quote's
quotes are
good for-
good for 30 days.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll,
And I trust him to check. He'll come right back and tell me what's going on.
Okay.
Most of the time I know while he's at the site.
I'll make a motion to, would we do that in old business, or you mean go ahead and do it, or? We tabled that last meeting about the $2,500. Can we do that now, or anyway, pro business doesn't matter? Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to hire Russell Paul, $2,500 for one time to check all of our tornado siren sites to make sure they're all operational, batteries are good, and electronics are all operational.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion on this?
I just learned what CALS stood for.
We all learned that last meeting.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, when I started talking about the cows, my son was like, "Mama, what do you have to do with cows?"
Are they Holsteins or?
The tower example.
Exactly. I don't know, that's just what they've been called for years.
Well, we also, like, used to call computer on wheels cows too, like, in schools.
They just learn to listen to whatever he says.
All right, any more discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Luca,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna head back down there if you need anything. I seen about that road and that, we checked on that and that road,
Yeah.
that name, so it's
Okay.
good. I'm gonna head down there because we're kinda busy
Meanwhile,
today.
Can we get with Brad and try to see if there's some?
Yes.
I'll
I'll
email
work on that.
Kim
I'll-
and see
I'll-
if she can tell me anything, my Brad contact.
I've got the paperwork on those, and I'll come down and see you later.
Okay, I'll be there.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Denise, do you have anything? Do you have anything? Okay, nothing in archives. Solid waste, Nathan.
If I can make a request to you all, I have a lot of material today. It's almost like an epic Ben-Hur movie. So I did hate to hold these guys up. Is it okay maybe if they go ahead of me since I have to stay at item 2 anyway?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
What a generous move.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today I brought my assistant director, Randa Hutchison. She's going to deliver the numbers for you all. While she's passing out those papers, though, I do want to highlight an event that we had this week. Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day on Tuesday. We certainly did at the Humane Society. We had our first annual doggy speed dating event. It was very, very successful. We raised about $600 in funds. We had 15 dogs out there in the runs. They had their own tables. We created menus with their bios in them. Had doggy treat bags for people to come and give them treats and spend 5 minutes each. We even had an impromptu karaoke session out there. So it was a lot of fun. And we have more events planned like that throughout the year. But Randa's going to deliver the numbers here.
All right, for January of 2023, our beginning shelter count was 64. That's 52 dogs and 12 cats. The total intake of animals was 73 dogs, 34 cats, bringing us to a total of 107. Citizen drop-off was 49 total, 25 dogs, 24 cats. 28 owner surrenders, 21 dogs and 7 cats. Our live release rate is 97.78. Shelter adoptions were 35, 16 dogs and 19 cats. 44 went to rescue, 36 dogs and 8 cats. We only had to euthanize 2 animals, which was 2 cats, 9 reclaimed animals, being 5 dogs and 4 cats, and our ending shelter count was 80 animals, 68 dogs, and 12 cats.
What was your last name again?
Hutchison.
Are there any questions on the numbers?
Appreciate it. I would say that anytime you got something like this, you can probably email it to Olivia and she could PDF it in on our.
I was just about to ask. I see these tablets here now.
So y'all don't have to worry about hauling papers around.
Yeah, we have
This is 2023, right? God.
We have moved everything up to as much of electronic as we can, so any department that has any paperwork, just email it to Olivia and she will gladly make sure that we have it on electronic form.
Good deal.
It makes it a whole lot easier. Thank you though.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll do. Randa recently got her certification to handle controlled substances through the state, and there are a lot of stipulations that come with that for not only her, but for our organization as well. So she's going to run through that because there's some things we need to ask the court for.
We definitely need new doorknobs. The whole interior of the facility needs to be on lockdown at all times, especially when we're closed. For my office, it has to be behind 2 locks. So I have to have a very efficient lock on the door as well as a rather large safe. The safe has to be like large enough where you can't just come in and move it with your hands, and it has to bolt to the floor and into the wall. So fairly, probably a little bit expensive, but
So what is this for again? Tell me.
euthanasia.
Okay.
Animal
So you're getting
euthanasia.
licensed to put down the animals?
Yes, I've already completed my training, and everything for the state has been sent out. The last step is when the DEA comes in, so we have to be ready for the inspection.
Okay. I think if you can get a quote to do that, you can bring it to me, and we'll discuss that.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
And to be clear, she has this this certification because it takes money, to go and put down animals when we have to, especially the aggressive ones. And a lot of the times, moving a very, very aggressive dog from the facility to a vet's office is super dangerous for the employees. So we need to be able to have those materials at the facility to be able to do that there without having to do any extra movements with the animals.
Yeah,
We
the
just need to really
sedation
check
will be
on
a
the
lot
liability
safer.
for us as a county to, does that put the county on line for this type of, drug that's now being housed at the Humane Society? I mean, I don't know, is that, what's the liability wise on that? Is that why?
I'm fully responsible. The direct on-site manager, like through the DEA, everything's under my name. The agency is licensed, but basically if it was to go under investigation, they would investigate all of my files, like it'll all be under me. So it would be me that they would look at. If that makes sense.
I want to say the way that the contract is set up, that the animal control portion does not have anything to do with her duties. So it would be under the organization as liability, the 501c3, and not the county.
So what are y'all here for?
It might help a little bit with like emergency situations too, those aggressive dogs out there. Under certain situations, I am allowed to leave the shelter with these medications and come out to the public to sedate an aggressive animal, or like if an animal is hung in a fence and needs to be cut out, I can humanely euthanize that animal or sedate it so that it is painless through the process. And like the aggressive dogs on the run that we chase around sometimes for a month to a month and a half, I can sit and watch and easily sedate those animals and we can take them in. So under emergency situations, it can be used as well.
Before, what were you doing for those?
Getting lucky.
Yeah, I mean, we just keep chasing them until we finally get them, or
And if they're vicious?
we'd have to
Getting
take our
extremely
chances,
lucky.
sadly. Yeah, we don't have like a trank gun or any form of protection for aggressive animals, honestly. We just have to risk it and go.
But now that she has the certification, we are able to get that medication to get the tranquilizer gun.
Yep. So it'll be handy, honestly. Hopefully it'll help the cats go down a little bit with like the repeats on the ones that are harder to handle and catch.
If you'll just
You're welcome.
get a quote on all that stuff, bring it to me, we'll look at it and go from there.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Rodney Hawker, do you have anything, Rodney?
Man, I was just here today, but anytime I'm the first management director, and Terry Cole, he had a step out phone call. Well, there he is.
He's back.
He's my deputy.
No, he's gone again.
But just kind of here, just introduce ourselves, for ones that didn't know us. We'll entertain any questions if y'all have any.
Appreciate you, man.
Emergency.
Thank you for what you do, Rodney.
He's
Absolutely.
the emergency management director. Is that what it's called, director? And then Terry's the assistant. Terry
Okay.
Cole, the guy that walked out.
I know we skipped over the jail report, but I was just curious about what the status of the bowler situation was.
we'll come to that in a minute.
The boilers.
We've got something to talk about later in that.
Yes.
We'll discuss that. Yeah. So stick around.
Thank you.
All right, Rodney, you didn't have anything else other than that? Thank you, Rodney, for all y'all's hard work. I appreciate it. You don't need these guys. You don't appreciate these guys until things happen. Then you appreciate them. All right, Nathan, now come on up.
Good morning. Before you hang me off the stage with a hook, hang in there. We'll get through this. I included in your all's iPads there a good report we did in January. We have some community service that worked and 13 bags and 14 tires. And so it's not a lot right now, but spring is coming. It's coming. And I know the jail's working on that to get a good crew out. It won't be long. So that's there. And I also included yesterday a recycling report for what's going on at the center. And so since the beginning of the year, we had 34 bales, some paper. Tim and the inmate crew, he has 3 inmates out there now. They're working pretty hard, running pretty wide open. So we're getting closer to full steam than we've been in a long time. So I'm very, very pleased. And we did have some baler troubles. Our main baler broke down, and so there will be a repair bill you'll be seeing come through soon, but it is working again, and so we're back at full strength on that. So y'all have any questions on either of those reports?
Hey, Nathan, I want to reiterate my request that that Walmart area be on the first of the list.
So I have the gentleman doing community service. He has it on his docket to do that, and he's running through his list right now of roads, and he's for some reason put that off, and so I wonder why. But yeah, and if he doesn't get to it some way, then I'll get somebody else on it if something falls through there. So yes, sir, I will sure get on that. All right, then we'll continue if that's okay. And then I, in this last period, visited 4 recyclers, and 2 in Russellville, Mike's Auto on 68 West, and Will Heights on Stevenson Mill Road. They're both near Russellville. And in Auburn, I visited Huff's Auto and Randall's Auto. And so those sites checked out based on what I looked at, and I submit those for approval.
Move to approve 4 sites as presented by Nathan.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport, Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Thank you all. So also included there was a large document, you may have seen it, the Solid Waste Annual Report. And if y'all saw that in there, so it's hard to sum up what it does, but basically it's what we did as a department in 2022. It's all the numbers and some of the events and different things concerning, for example, litter abatement, recycling enforcement. It covers pretty much the whole 9 yards, and it's something I'm required to submit to the state every year. And it does need to be approved for Judge Baker to sign. And so if you have questions about it, you're free to ask. I have a print copy here, but just need to submit that for approval.
We didn't get that, did we?
Yeah, it's
What is it?
I know there's so much. It's like
I was
the
looking
funny
for.
looking one, the one that looks different from all the rest of them.
I'm looking for it.
It's not, it just says edited 1/11/23. Is that what we're talking about right there?
I think so.
No, I may have missed that, y'all, that's my fault. I'll get it added to where y'all can get it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's in my email.
I thought she was talking about this one right here. What's the title? It's like 15 pages long.
Yeah, it's about how long it is.
Yeah, it's in mine.
What's it listed?
It's-
What's the number out in front of it, Thomas?
There's not a number in front of it. It's called Area Solid Waste Management Plan 5-year update, year 2023 through 2027.
No, that's actually not what we're doing today. That was already approved back last year. This is actually a yearly update.
Oh, he shared that with us last year on our Google Drive, that's why you see it.
That's why.
You're ahead of technology.
I don't know about that. I tried.
That's completely my fault, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway,
I do, because of the way that it has to be given to them by March 1st. So if we have to wait till next meeting, it would put me in kind of a bind to get everything finalized.
It's all the
So
same, what we've always done.
You just needed it acknowledged.
I think so, yeah, for him to sign.
think
Not
it's
right,
So
y'all.
moved to acknowledge
I'm sorry,
Your
all.
report, allow Judge.
I have a print copy if you want to look at it, but.
Okay, I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, a second. Any other discussion?
I think I should be able to get it added from here, so y'all should be able to see by the Monday.
All right, I have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Thank you all. And so the next thing I had was, Amanda's already mentioned, we were awarded the check for our illegal open dump grant, and we mentioned it's on road called Sawmill Road, east of Russell off 6880. And so I included some information for y'all so we could start the bid process today is our hope. But I've run into a problem because when it seemed like everything was good to go, but the property owner of that site has COVID. And the paperwork that I'd sent her to review, she didn't review it in time, and she asked me to delay that. And I was disappointed. I wanted to get started while there's less undergrowth at that site. It'll be a lot easier to clean it up at that point. But based on her wishes, I'd asked to wait a meeting to put out. The idea would be to put out for bids for an independent contractor to clean that site. So, but I'd asked to just table that. So, but the information is there for y'all to look at if you have any questions. Okay?
That'll be item number 2 under new business.
And the item number 2 is something of a clerical, is my understanding, that just needed to be fixed. And so that's what that's concerning. Okay. The next thing I had, we had a resident propose that we move the free dump days. And I sent in a message to you all asking just for your thoughts on that and maybe to bring it up at this meeting. And so here's what the basic story is there. For several years, the free dump days have been the second and fourth Saturdays of every month in the morning time. And so in the old days, I'm told they were the first and third. And a resident said, why don't you move it back to the first and third? And here's why. For residents that don't recycle, or they do recycle and have a lot of excess garbage that third week, they can go ahead and take it to the transfer station and not have to wait a week to do that. And so that gets rid of the garbage a lot sooner if they have the free day in that third week. And so I thought, well, I don't know. There's potentially an upside to it. I asked Sam, who's the manager out at Scott Waste, and he liked the idea. He said he thought it was a good idea. And I've asked some folks to try to put it out on Facebook. The feedback I've gotten has been mostly positive, a little negative, but mostly positive. It will require a large education campaign because a lot of folks get confused. It's going to take months to get everybody where they need to be. But I just wanted to see what y'all thought, because Sam said we don't want to do that without the fiscal court's blessing.
We're thinking. Everybody's thinking.
I'm indifferent to it. I'm not going to take my position. I don't care. I don't see, just personally, I don't know of anybody who is going to take advantage of that because recycling was on the third week. But maybe I'm wrong. You know?
Okay.
So I could care less if it's first, third.
Well, according to the pictures I saw, I don't think they care regardless.
Yeah.
No, people aren't gonna recycle. You got 2% of the people that's got the green top cans actually use them properly.
No, I think that's not a correct number, but I get your
25%?
point.
How many?
That's coming up next. We'll talk about that next. So, yeah.
Hey, what do you think what's the downside of changing?
The downside is the confusion, because I get called, because it used to be the first and third. I got calls for the first couple, 3 years I've had this job. People said, it's the first and third, isn't it? No, it's the second and fourth.
You're gonna have to put it on the gate, you're gonna have to put it on the news, you're gonna put it in the paper.
It'll take a couple months to change over anyway, Sam told me. But
If the advantage is that people on recycle weeks have garbage, and that's ending up in a lot of people's recycle because they don't know what to do with it, and that's what the guys told me yesterday. They're hiding it underneath their recycle. That's what they told me. And then when they raked it out. So it sounds like to me you're saying if we move it to the first and third, then those people who are recycling properly will have also an avenue for their actual garbage.
that's the idea. Or even if they're not recycling, they have an outlet for their
Hopefully help the
garbage.
recycling problem.
That's the theory. It's a theory,
Why
but
not try it?
we don't
And
know.
my point is, when it comes to Saturday, it's the last day of the week. Trash is picked up the 15th, recycling is picked up the 15th through the 21st, okay? I mean, just go scroll through your calendar and look where the third Saturday lands. It's either right before or just a day or two right after when trash ran. So you're already gonna know, when recycle ran. So you're gonna know whether you need, man, I've just got more garbage and it's recycle week. Well, it's the second Saturday of the month. I'll just run to the trash. If somebody is using that because of that reason, it don't matter if it's the second Saturday or the third Saturday. I mean, because it's just one day. If you move it to the third Saturday, it's going to be the same argument. You're going to be a day or two ahead of it or a day or two after it. So I don't see anybody saying, wow, this will make a big difference in my trash management plan because it's the first and third Saturday. I am happy to move it to the first and third Saturday. Has zero effect on me whatsoever. None. I'm still gonna get a phone call when's trash day. 9 out of 10 times I forget and I have to call back. So, because I get so confused. And I think just changing it is gonna it's gonna hurt more people by far than it's gonna help.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
So you'd rather not change it?
For something that, maybe a handful of people is gonna say, wow, this is really gonna affect my management plan with my garbage, as opposed to people who are just, how many years now have we been on the second and fourth?
I'd still get.
And when Scott Waste took over the conference, so it's been over 10 years, yeah.
That's been 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you're gonna have people loaded up and go to the transfer station. Now they're mad. They're gonna call Tyler and say, why in the world did you change that? And Tyler's gonna say, well, Thomas tried to tell me not to. But I did it anyway. So let the record.
The halo is rising.
Well, let the show.
That's your story, but that's not my story.
Now, if there is some benefit, please tell me. But I see more negative coming than positive.
Okay. It will be hard to educate. I mean, you just have to put it out repeatedly over and over. It's going to be a lot of work. So, yeah, I mean, it'll save me work. But if y'all,
the cow's been walking that trail for that long, man. You put a fence in front of it, you got a problem.
yeah. But I thought it was an idea worth exploring. So,
I mean, it is an idea, but I think the education curve's too much because I still have people call me every.
Oh, yeah. They
when
say
is
that.
it? Second.
Really?
Oh, look.
Yeah,
I promise you, you get on Facebook right now, 10 people
They haven't called me. I'm not sure why they haven't.
Thank you.
but what did you?
I
I'm
haven't got those calls, and I know
Oh,
everybody
okay.
else
I'll
is.
give them your number.
Oh, no, thank you.
I don't know.
You have your own.
So it seems like the consensus just leave it alone. That's what I'm hearing.
Tyler, you was wanting to change it pretty bad, wasn't you?
Who, me? I never said one.
Okay.
Wait a minute now.
Look, I just think whatever will
No,
help.
no.
That's what I want to do. Yeah, that's why.
The judge just might, like Mr. Bolden, is whatever the favor of the court is.
I'm happy to make the change.
I don't use it, so I mean, as far as personally, but.
Seem like it's gonna make
I
a
haven't-
real positive effect if we can all put a feather in our hat and say, man.
I'll say
this
I
is really
haven't, I've never had anybody call me and say, why do y'all do it on second or fourth Saturday?
Okay. I had this resident that did. He was one of the first that did, and I thought, well, I'll just ask
I'm
y'all.
sure there is a handful of people that would use that to take care of the problem with their trash recycling program, but, I mean, there's gonna be hundreds of people that are gonna show up, throughout this coming year, because don't everybody go every month, right?
Sure.
They might go twice a year, and they make this big plan, they get their family together, they clean up the farm, they head to town, and the place is closed.
Okay.
Agreed.
So as far as I'm,
If you get more feedback, I think maybe we
Okay.
could bring it up again.
I'll bring it back to y'all if I get a lot of feedback that says
Thomas's
they
speech
are.
is gonna be the exact same.
Yeah.
I'm open.
He may say, I stand
Somebody
corrected.
tells me that, hey, if
I've
it's
got-
500 people calling, they want this, then Let's do it. I'm indifferent to it. Makes me
I've had a
feel
few, I haven't had a tremendous feedback one way or the other. I've had some what I've seen has been mostly positive, but yeah, the points y'all have are very valid. It's gonna take a lot of work to educate. So. Okay, well, we'll leave it alone then for now. If I hear anything else, I'll come back. Okay, the last thing I had, so.
Ben-Hur's gonna do an end.
Yeah, if every epic comes to an end. So recycling, Sam Upperman is the manager at Scott Waste. He called me out of the blue and said, hey, Nathan, the company that takes our recycling out of Louisville, is named West Rock, is threatening to double our rates. Right now we pay as a county about $34 a ton for the recycling program that we have, and they are threatening to double that rate. And the reason is the contamination issue, because the loads they've been getting recently, I was told by Scott Waste, generally since COVID, it's been a downhill trend. And recently the rates of contamination, instead of being the 20% that's the standard, it's around over half, 50, 60%. So it's a major uptick. And so this contamination is a big problem. And Sam could not be here today. He wanted to. He told me he was out of town. So it is a tough situation. And so what we did, Thomas and I went on the radio yesterday and we talked. We're just trying to educate folks about recycling. And Ms. Crawford was able to make it out yesterday and check out. And we went to the transfer station and looked at the recycling. And I wanted to make sure the whole court had an opportunity to do that as well and just to be out there. And so I sent a couple of pictures in y'all's files. I believe y'all did get that, looks like. So you see some good stuff in there. You see some positive. People did do what they needed to, but you see some styrofoam in one of the pictures and odd items in one. You see those bags are not supposed to be there, that everything's supposed to be unbagged. Mm-hmm. And when they opened up those bags, most all of them were trash. They were food contaminated items and they can't be recycled. A few of them weren't, but most of them were. And so the hope is for the magistrates and I guess whoever else is interested to come and take a look at the recycling as it goes on at the Apex transfer station. So I've been in discussions with the court about emailing back and forth, several emails, and just trying to get a date together for everybody else to go. Just looking at the weather, Monday appears to be the best weather day, just to throw that out there. He said it was in the afternoon time. Do y'all have any thoughts on that about going out there? I said we might just work on this today while we got everybody here. Friday tomorrow might be okay, just be really cold. So, some cold trash. I'm okay with that too.
I think as much as anything, if you can just, for what audience we have listening and here,
Sure.
is maybe giving the explanation of the contamination.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
You know, the reason why this is going the way it's going.
Sure. So the thoughts are, especially with COVID and just the change in everyone's habits that came with that. Some folks, as sad as it is, they begin to use the third week recycling tote as a garbage tote. And we talked about that yesterday on the radio. We want to encourage residents not to do that and to look at other ways. We mentioned some other ways that could be dealt with. But yeah, a lot of the contamination we're seeing, it just appears to be folks what they tell us at Scott Waste, they'll put some recycling maybe on top of the tote, but a lot of residents will kind of bury some trash underneath so you can't catch it. And so they just can't catch it. They do stop some. They said about 1% they're able to catch ahead of time and not pick up their recycling tote. But they tell me, and of course it's true, they don't have time to check everybody's tote and make sure they're recycling like they need to. It's just not feasible to check all the totes that are needed. We could possibly increase spot checks. But it's something that the court, I just want to bring to it. We just to work on a solution to make the recycling better, because it looks like at this point, Scott Waste is going to have to reject a lot of the recycling loads they send up there so that we're not charged double what we have to pay now. So
I got a couple questions. So how much do we pay per ton on regular trash?
It's somewhat less than that. I'd hate to give you a figure. I can look into that figure and get it for you, but it is somewhat less than that $34 a ton.
Is Logan County the only one that has a recycling issue?
So the only other entity Scott Waste works with that has this type of program is the city of Franklin. And I think generally it's a little bit better with them, but it's not. They have contamination issues as well.
So you said contamination needs to be at 20% or less. We're at like 60%. Well, what's Franklin?
That's another great question I could get for you. I have not heard that number yet, but I can get that number
And we're
for you.
bringing Franklin's to the Logan County recycle area.
Yes, I don't think all of it comes there, but yeah, it does come there, and that is part of the transfer. That is part of what the transfer station does, Warren and Franklin's does. It doesn't stay there, it's not buried there, it's not a landfill, it's just a holding site till it gets transferred to Hopkins County,
Now,
which
we're
is the
not
final
taking
point.
Warren
For
County's
the trash.
recycle, just their trash.
Correct.
And this is going in the same building that trash goes in.
That is
Well, it
correct.
goes
It's
in its
a,
own little
it's a
spot.
little
It's got its own
section,
little
it's a
beam.
little
Okay.
section, yeah, it's walled off with concrete, it's a section.
Well, I have a couple suggestions.
Okay?
You know, money talks. It always does. And if we could offer people like a little less for their garbage pickup if they will recycle. And then with that, have a separate recycle crew. Not the garbage guys who have to get out and look in those recycle bins. That is cost inefficient because they have to get out of their trucks. They won't get their routes done. But have a, you know, we could just try it a couple months. Somebody else pick up the recycle. It could be used with one of those trucks, but they get out and look and tell this owner, oh, excuse me, this is not recycled material. If this happens again, it will be documented on your garbage bill.
Let me ask you, so you're suggesting not have Scott Waste pick up the recycling and someone
No,
else?
I'm saying Scott Waste maybe could have maybe a month or two, a crew that only picks up recycle.
Okay.
And so their garbage guys don't have to get out. Don't have to look in that recycle bin. Those recycle guys look every time. And the customers will realize, I'm not going to be allowed to do this. You let your customer know, just 2 months, see what it does. See what happens to our contamination percentage.
Okay. That'd be definitely a conversation with Sam
Yeah, and I
when
don't
he
want to
comes
take
next
that
time.
for
Yeah.
time, but there's got to be a way. And as I said, the money talks thing, that's going to cost to have a crew come out on those third weeks. But it might be better to have like one crew for garbage, one crew for recycling, to see if we can't curb the customers who are trying to recycle, not lose their benefit, because the ones that are not using it right, you know, aren't, you know, excuse me, no.
Well, I think we're in the county's in a contract with Scott Waste with the set rates, with set, you know,
Yeah.
we would have to remove ourselves from the contract and rebid it out if we change anything with that contract, would be my guess,
Just
right?
have to completely rebid it.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Which I'm not I think, you know, personally, I think the recycling, you know, it's good to recycle, but I think that our community as a whole is not, super passionate about it. I mean, Thomas
Well,
might
when they
disagree with
opened
me,
those
but.
bags yesterday, I think we're closing, because it was
Yeah.
not, I would tell you, he opened those out with a rake,
Yeah.
and
So I
It
know
was not
that, I know that Bowling Green, or Warren County or Bowling Green, I don't remember, either City of Bowling Green or Warren County, they started a new program to where, you know, Scott just does their trash.
yeah,
And then they have,
Uber.
oh,
I
yeah,
think that's what
well,
they
it's
said.
like a separate,
Yeah.
it's a separate
It's called
deal to where.
Recyclops
It's
is
a,
what
yeah,
it's called.
Recyclops, it's a company that
Like
they,
Uber.
I don't know if the Uber drivers pick it up or not, I don't.
No, but it's like Uber.
Oh.
You call, no, it
Oh,
wasn't Uber.
Oh, okay.
It was like Uber, and they call and say, I've got my recycle
Yeah,
stuff, and they go pick
yeah.
it up.
Well, they give them 3 different color bags, like a blue and a green and a red or something, and, you know, and then, but the people choose if they want to do the recycling, and they pay so much per quarter or so much per month for that Recyclops. Is that right? Recyclops, program. Because, I mean, so, you know, in all honesty, I think at this point, for a community as a whole, we're gonna have to start paying twice the amount to send it to the.
They're
you
giving
know.
us a trial period to kind of bring it down, is what Sam told us. So.
Okay.
So I think those discussions are great discussions to take place for the new contract when it takes place, which is about 2 years from now, if I remember correctly.
April, the official deadline is April 1st, 2025, but we have to give them 6 months' notice in October of the previous year.
So
We
if
want
we
out.
want to redesign that, which is what y'all two are kind of talking about, and I think those are great ideas, and we need to brainstorm and come up with something. But the immediate attention today needs to put on, how do we go from 60 back down to below 20 where we used to be for years? So the court will know, we never had this problem for years, okay?
Pete Record always told us it was
Has
pretty good.
changed. The mentality of people. That's right, and so, the only first thing that I would tell you, we need to tell Sam, if Sam thinks that is, which that obviously is, the picture I'm looking at, is contamination, he does not need to be loading that up and sending it to recycle.
And he knows
needs
that.
to trash it.
Yeah, and he
Okay?
knows that.
There's
That's
no
what he's
sense
gonna
us
do.
playing
Yeah.
double when we can look at it and common sense tells us this is trash or contaminated recycle. Just haul it off,
Pay
you
that
know,
rate.
and pay trash rates, you know, which we've already paid in our bill. But, you know, Sam needs to do some management on his side and educate on his side and give them discretion when this junk comes in. It just needs to go to trash.
Well, according to the drivers that I talked to, they're all getting it. So, I mean, are we not gonna use recycle at all?
Some of them are better than others. There were a few loads that were better than others, so it's possible we could get a good
Where I live
load.
up and down Franklin Road, I know every one of those people, and they're passionate about it, and it's clean, and a third of them you can eat out of it.
I would also just point out
I
with
will tell you, for sure.
the way that works, I'm assuming, is if you look at it, they're garbage trucks. So if you have everybody who's doing it clean, I assume when they pick up a bad one, it dirties up that whole load. So that's also a part of it where literally one bad apple can spoil the bunch, so.
Right.
So, I mean, you've got three types of people. You've got people that's gonna be good stewards of it. Then you got uneducated people that think they're recycling, but they're really contaminating. And then you got people that just don't care.
That's right. There are three groups, you're
Yeah,
right.
so I'm sure we do have a lot of good stewards of it, and then there's people like my family that want to recycle, but we just don't know. So I think education's a huge key. So, but how do you educate 29,000 people?
It's not easy, but I guess it's just,
Well,
radio station helps. A lot of people listen to radio, Facebook.
I mean, I
Ads.
think education might help some, but I think a lot of it's just, I have too much trash for 3 weeks, I'm gonna put it in recycling.
So the next time we bid it out, do we need to look at seeing what the cost is of just an extra recycle?
That's what I think. That's
An
my
extra what?
opinion, and if we have to
You run
wait 2
trash
years.
all 52 weeks and you run recycling 12 times a year.
I asked Sam that very question, Jason, and he said, yeah, it's possible. Yeah,
you're
but the
saying,
money's there.
according to
It's
Thomas,
about the
we've got
money.
2 years to deal with this before we do that. Isn't that what I understood you to say?
We are in that
What was the date?
contract.
April what?
We are in that contract till
Yeah, we're
April
talking
1st,
so 2 years from now.
2025.
So in the meantime, we've got to deal with this for 2 years.
In October of 2024.
We have to,
can
you
start
all have
talking.
to tell them that we want out. So it's in the contract, it has to be 6 months prior, you have to give them
Cause
notice.
it can be re-upped, it can be rearmed.
It could be re-upped again for actually 2 more times.
Yeah.
What the consensus seems to be, that's not gonna happen.
You can send that letter today, that we will be rebidding this out. You
How-
can send that letter today.
But I'm almost
I mean, there's
certain
no doubt about
we've got a
that.
6 month out regardless of the date.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think like right now, we can make that decision that we want to rebid. Is that?
No.
Okay, so that contract is,
Feasible.
Well, I mean, the date is right. The one thing I would say, and I don't know if y'all want to get into this, but in theory, I don't think we could do another recycling program without Scott Waste being on board, because that's out there. I think it could be feasible if you wanted Nathan to explore what that additional cost would be to do 52 weeks of garbage pickup and then have the additional recycling pickup. I just don't know if that's a figure you want to look at.
Well, just in brutal honesty, we talked about that with Pete, with Judge Chick, and he was willing to do that, but he said, hey, if you give me a couple more years or a few more years of contract, I'll do that for you.
Okay.
So that might be something that's an option, you know, if you're willing to go that route.
I don't think we
Now,
need to
the
go that
recy-
route, but I was also thinking if, I mean, there was more.
Just do separate.
The Recyclops, Sam has expressed an interest maybe in having a minor redo if that was something the court wanted to do. But the only problem with Recyclops is that this county is a lot less densely populated than Warren County, so it might be a harder sell for county-wide recycling.
Okay.
So, for Recyclops to go for it.
If they're gonna want to extend it, then I think we just scrap that, but.
Coopertown, Horner Road, yeah.
He told me he wasn't gonna tell me which district that was, so I don't
It's
know
a-
what.
it's on the
picture.
is
Look at the title.
contaminating everything.
They do, what Sam told her and me yesterday is that they do send out messages every so often, they'll send out messages about how to recycle, but it's not, they don't want to send it too often because it's, it could make people kind of overlook it because they're getting too much junk mail. But one thing about it, not everybody's signed up on their app, or they don't have everybody's phone number to text them. So that was one of the things they said last time.
I think the biggest thing I'm hearing here is we just need to educate.
Yes, sir.
Make the public understand what actually this contamination does, that even if you put garbage in one pail, it's contaminating the whole system. And we can't do that, so.
Right.
I think we start with an education plan, we can look at that.
Yes, sir.
You can help us look into doing that. I think honestly, it starts in the schools.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
start with your children have a lot of influence on
That's
what you do.
exactly right. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask one. So everybody that has trash service gets a recycle bin regardless if they want to participate or not?
Not necessarily. If you tell them you don't want it, they don't get it, but
But
yeah.
you don't get a third week of.
Yeah, you just lose that week of service. Yeah.
We're also in a joint contract with the city of Russellville and Darrellville and Auburn.
They all have to kind of go along with a lot of this too. So yeah, that, it is a process that's re-upping the trash. So yes, we would have to include the cities.
And one thing, I don't know that we would want to open this box, but for those people that are just totally defiant, if they were to fill theirs full of garbage and just not pull it out on recycling day, but take it up on garbage day, would Scott Waste empty both?
They don't like to do that. They don't like, they say, yeah, make sure don't use that blue tote. You know, they're not real big on that.
Chris kind of brought this up. What if they just give their green lid back and got a yellow lid and took 2 yellow lids out?
It's a fairly cheap rate for just getting two.
I think it's $6 a month.
That's
to
about
have a
right.
second yellow top.
That's right. Yeah. So it's worth it for a lot of people.
So for the ones that aren't using it right, just,
And you're just asking for it, is what I was telling Jason. If you give them a green top and they're not going to use it, you're just asking for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's a good thing.
I just didn't know if they could opt out.
Yeah,
Swapping them out, that might be something they could do. I don't know that I want to do that because I'm afraid we would get more people that are good stewards that are now going to go away from it, but it might at least clean up what we've got.
Get the percentage down.
we could talk with Sam about that next time and see if he.
It shouldn't be no cost difference really as far as, well, but then I'll be stuck with a bunch of green top cans, but.
Well, the only difference is people would use 2 yellow cans every week, and you're actually supposed to pay
Extra for, yeah.
instead of just like the 1 week.
It's almost like it'd be nice to take
They could probably
inventory.
enforce that though by
Do you
saying we're only
participate in
going to
recycle,
use
yea
2
or
on the
nay?
4th
If you
week
don't,
because that's the only
Yeah,
time.
you go take their green top. I mean, there's no reason them having it.
That's not a legal issue, that's more just a
Contract.
Suggestion.
logic issue.
Yeah.
It's a can we can kick.
Well, Auburn people are not happy. So,
Okay.
So you just need to be mindful as you consider what you do, what the service and the contract is for. The service is for a month pickup or weekly pickup of, I don't know how many gallons those totes are, I always forget.
96 gallons.
96 gallon tote. Any and everything you can put in there. It's not for overflow. If you have overflow, that is for you to manage, whether you have to pay for it, you take it to the recycle center. You see people all the time with that tote and just tons of stuff outside that. That is not Scott's responsibility to pick that up
All that
whatsoever.
excess.
It is not.
And it's always
It's
there.
gotta go in the tote. Okay, that's what the contract is for. So when you get people that'll call that are raising Cain that this didn't get picked up, you know, a lot of times I'll call and say, hey, you didn't pick up this guy's trash. And, yeah, we did. We picked up their trash, and to be honest with you, they have it all pictured and documented.
They do. They have good system for that.
Every week, there is an overflow, and we've picked it up for 3 or 4 weeks, but we just can't continue to do it. This customer has just loads and loads of garbage every single time. So you need to remind your constituents that, hey, what you can put in there, you know, they'll take. And I also remind my constituents that, you know, it's your trash, you bought it. I didn't buy it. You know, the county didn't buy it. You know, it's your responsibility, whether you recycle or don't, I could care less. But it's yours to manage, not mine. And throwing it out on the road or throwing it in a sinkhole, or you wouldn't believe the trash I pick up off those access roads on the bypass. People just pull down there and just dump their trash, you know? And I pick those up, you know? It's just part of life of dealing with some ignorance of some people, but I'm not gonna let that ruin it for all, you know? But your trash is yours to manage. And, you know, at the end of the day, just because you may choose to recycle or not, recycling does not cause you to have more trash. You still have the same amount of trash to manage one way or the other, whether or not you choose to recycle. When people say, well, I just ain't got enough room, you know, and, you know, because of recycling. No, recycling ain't got nothing to do with it. You bought it, you be responsible for it. Don't ask me to be responsible for your trash. Government is providing a unified solid waste plan there to pick up and manage curbside trash, and we try to do it in a manner that, I know it's not perfect, you know, but your unwillingness or ignorance to do something like this is not an excuse to cause taxpayers to pay hundreds of thousands of more dollars because of some people's unwillingness or ignorance. It's not fair to the other 99%. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and fall over for the 1% who does something stupid and change the whole plan, because we didn't have this problem for years. And so I'm willing to change. I think it does need changing. And I'm here to do whatever y'all want to do to make it better, but I'm not willing to sit here and say, well, we're going to cater to the 1% who want to ruin it for everybody else. I'm not going to be part of that.
So I like what Jason said. Are we kicking the can then? Because I don't see an answer to today.
So Sam Upperman, the manager at Scott Waste, is supposed to be here next time, and Thomas, I think maybe some others suggested maybe having a working session with him after court, you know, so maybe let some questions, because as you can see, it's a long discussion, right? So maybe let us have a little time after court to talk with him next time, if that sounds good.
Guys, and I will publicly say this, it was incredible how much cleaner. I could not believe it. Because the times I had been there before recently, it was just awful. And it was scraped, it was clear. Behind the fence still needs to be addressed, but I don't know if they even own that, but it still needs to be addressed. The other side still needs to be addressed, but huge difference. And you can tell them it was amen if we can get an A somewhere. F's everywhere, some places, but A's on that.
I'm talking about the cleanliness of the transfer stations, which he's referring to. So, and it is better. They have worked on it in the last year. It has been a lot that they've done.
They knew you were coming.
What?
I was joking.
I didn't hear you.
So they knew you were coming?
Well, I don't think they knew that much.
No.
Tell them you're coming every week, it'd be like that.
Yeah, the rest of y'all go, no telling how good it'll be.
All
Right?
I know is that I was pleasantly surprised, because we go up there a lot, just to watch.
Sure.
And I did say the outside still needs to be cleaned up, because well, you know.
I just don't think there's an easy solution to the contamination, but I mean, we can.
Well, mate, short term for sure. They need to do some culling. There's no sense us playing double. That means some recycling's going to the trash. I'll be the first to admit it's not right for us to pay double until we can get our hands on. Again, we'll continue to try to educate, continue to try to identify those who are doing such nonsense and not pick that up. And, and again, just work with people, to have an understanding of what our current, nothing we can do about our current contract. What our current contract is, and people need to be working to that. It's not changed. We're 15 years into that contract. It's not 15, probably 12, 13 years into that contract.
Something
it's not
like
new.
that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what Thomas is, from what I understand, what Thomas is saying, when they dump it, and it looks like those pictures, take it to the trash side.
That's what he was talking about yesterday. Yes, that's what they're looking to start to do, is what they're going to kind of examine the loads, and maybe they were willing to send you all pictures. I'm sure when he talks with y'all, they'll he'll fill in more on that, but send you all pictures about what it looks like, that particular load, and say, hey, this is why we trashed this load and didn't recycle.
Well, I think it might be good, and Thomas is gonna love this, but I think it might be good for those guys to say, okay, District 1, this is what your recycle looks like. District 2, this is what you're recycling. District 5, this is what you're recycling. And then those district people are gonna know where the problem is.
It's a possibility. We ought to work, but, because the routes are not exactly by
otherwise
district.
what
But
we could do.
And those pictures would be good that they do that, because these pictures that you took clearly say they are from the Coopertown Homer Road area.
that's what he told us.
So we know we need to be looking at that route. Whether that's Scott, you, the judge, the sheriff, that route right there needs to be looked at. That is unacceptable.
Sure.
So we know for sure that if you want to talk about spot checking, you need to start right there at the Coopertown Road Homer area. And those things don't need to be
Well,
picked
that's what I
up.
was meaning.
Don't
Just
pick
go
it
by
up.
section.
Right.
And people need to get with the program and abide by the contract. It is the contract.
My
I mean,
thing
I
is-
could care less if your green, yellow tote is empty. I don't care. But you can't be putting trash in it because you just spoiled tons and tons of recyclable material
Right.
because you don't like the recycle program.
Well, my thing is, I have 2 recycle bins, and I
Okay.
pay for that.
Okay.
I pay,
Yeah.
and I have 2 yellow top.
Okay, yeah.
If I did not want the recycle bins, why would I have them?
Sure,
So
sure.
why are they putting out recycle bins to people that aren't gonna recycle? So, but I bought a house, and there were 2 yellow top trash cans there. I called to tell them that they needed to come pick them up. It took them a month to get it, which I know shorthanded, I understand all that, and I get that. And by the time that they got there, people had stopped on the road and thrown trash in those yellow top trash cans that they had to, and there's a separate truck that brings and picks up
Right.
those cans.
Yeah.
But on a road like this, why would you not take those, talk to the people and say, hey, if you don't want to recycle, we're gonna take the recycle can up. Instead of just leaving it there
And a lot
and
of
giving them the
people did
option to do
In the
that.
early days, when that's a great idea, and we went on the radio, or I went on the radio, Nathan did it at a different time, we didn't do it together, and said, hey, if you don't want to recycle, just call, and we'll pick it up, because there's no sense. And the people did, they call, I'm not gonna recycle, come pick this joker up. And, they just missed out on that 3rd week, that was fine, but they were okay with it, and,
Well, I mean, it doesn't cost that much. Just ask for another yellow top and have 2 yellow tops there.
$5 a month or what it
Right,
used to be.
to throw your trash. I've got 2 yellow top bins, and I've got more trash receptacles now. I don't have to worry about trash being picked up or not being picked up that week. I can hold off because I got another dumpster for $5
Yeah.
or $6.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
To some people.
Right.
You're right.
Are y'all good to go, the rest of the court to go on Monday, or would y'all want to do on that?
Just schedule a time, and who
schedule
shows
time.
up, shows up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got a meeting that day, but I should be able to do it in the afternoon.
Just email us all the time, and we'll.
If it's good, I'll email you Monday afternoon sometime is my plan, if that sounds good.
Good if it's staggered too, just the open meetings and not
Right.
having the quorum all hanging out together, I assume, if that's what you're talking about.
Say that, I want to make sure.
You only need to have 3 of the 7 together at one time, because even if they meet outside of it, you can't have a quorum of 4 walking around doing stuff.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so it's a good idea to stagger it anyway.
Okay.
so.
It would be trashy for more.
Yeah. So, y'all want to do some tomorrow and some on
Jason's
Monday,
just full of
whatever?
puns today.
That'll be fine. If you can just give us 2 or 3 times, then we can choose who goes where, when.
Okay.
Well, I was already
Sounds
gonna
good.
separate with these others. Then
Okay.
that way, because I was there a long time yesterday.
Okay,
And I
sounds good.
probably won't come, honestly, I
Sure.
go because of my business, I go out there all the time.
Sure, you know what's going on.
So, I see it,
Sounds good.
I know what they do.
Thank you so much.
I think the credits are finally rolling, so thank you all.
Thank you, man.
Okay. Thank you, Nathan. All right,
You didn't protect long on Sunday, did you?
What's that?
You didn't preach that long on Sunday, did you?
Probably not.
I have received a note that we need to take a recess, so let's take a quick 5 minutes and return. Well, first thing we have, next item is judges' announcements for February 16th. The Lewisburg Rural Fire Department is holding their annual fundraiser on March the 4th. This is not a bean dinner, not a bean dinner. And this will be held at the Lewisburg Elementary School at 4:30. March the 4th, it's a good time. Come on out and help support the Lewisburg Rural Fire Department. Also, the annual Agriculture Appreciation Luncheon at the Logan County Extension Office is February the 24th at 12 o'clock. I think that's all the announcements I have. Citizen participation. I think we have one. Ms. Baker.
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
Thank you all for all you do. I've been here this whole time, and you all are covered up, and I appreciate it so much. There's a lot going on, and I appreciate Mr. Cockrell and all he does, and the department over here, everybody. You have a lot going on, and this seems maybe a little insignificant compared to some of the other things you talk about. But my name is Allison Baker, and I am here today representing the group that came to the court meeting in January, interested in the sports complex that we talked about. It was kind of a long discussion at that time. I won't keep you very long. I just have a few questions. I'm here speaking today instead of Rich Ewald, who is out of town on a nice Florida long-term vacation for a few weeks, and he will return and take over for me to speak. But he asked me to present a couple of questions, 2 or 3 questions today, and I wanted to introduce myself because I'm a member of the group that's interested in this. There was a large group of us here at that meeting. I'm the only one here today, but we kind of have questions about that. We don't want to badger you all. We don't want to be a nuisance. If we need a bunch of people to show up for every court meeting, that's what we'll do. We'll just plan to gather a bunch of people because there's a bunch of people interested in this. My husband Keith would be here, but he had to be out of town today as well. But we are almost lifelong citizens of Russellville, Logan County, other than a few years when we lived away when we first got married. I always wanted to come back to Logan County. This is our roots. This is where we were born and raised, went to school. Our families were here, and we wanted to move back here and raise our family, which we did. We own and operate a small photography business here that we've been involved in for about 30 plus years. We are taking now 2nd generation pictures. We've taken Jason's sports pictures, and now we're taking some of Thomas's. We're doing 2nd generation now, so we're that old. And all through those years growing up, even when we were young, and now as we've grown older and our kids have been raised here, we've all heard the questions, and probably everybody here has heard the questions, heard the comment, Logan County needs something more. Logan County needs something to get people to come. Logan County needs more to get people to stay. And we think this is a great idea. You all mentioned in the court meeting in January that you've heard this before, that it's not a new idea. It is an old idea, which kind of leads me to believe this interest has been there for a long time. I think we haven't known what to do with it. So we want to know what we need to do to move forward with this. We're going to keep asking. We're going to keep showing up. I think there are some different things that maybe come into play as to why it's fizzled out before. One of those, obviously, probably the biggest in everybody's minds is everybody has dollar signs in their eyes. Everybody wants to know where that money's going to come from. And we all do. I do too. We want to make sure those answers are in place. I love that Thomas seems to be the one that always says, we got to have a plan. We need to know what's going to happen before we move forward. And that's true. Can't move anything forward without a plan. We don't want it to fizzle out, so we're going to, if we need to badger you, we'll badger you with a little caveat that we don't want to badger you. But you all have said you need us to show up. You need people to continue to show interest and not just let this die out as it has before. So Rich asked me to present 2 or 3 questions, and that's what I want to do. Let me just give you the questions, and then if you want to answer them one at a time or just combine 2 or 3 in them. What have you heard from your constituents, if anything? Would you be willing to, those of you, I think a few of you have visited facilities in neighboring counties that have a facility is what we're looking for. Would the ones of you who haven't done that be willing to do that? We would be glad to go and show you around, or let them show us around as to what's available. And the third and final question is, what is your next step, or what is our next step? We want to know, is this something that you all have to do all the stuff on for us to move forward, or do we need to come up with a plan? Do we need to look at properties and say, here's what we found, would this work? Do we need to talk to contractors and say, this is what they paid to have this done in Warren County or Allen County? I noticed Allen County is coming up with a plan that they're getting ready to break ground, I think, on a complex such as this. This is something that's going to present opportunities. You know, we have the Carpenter Center, which is great for what it's for, right here in downtown Russellville. We have the beautiful Ag Center, Expo Center out there that is wonderful, and it addresses those needs. What we're talking about is something that's going to address needs of all ages for all kinds of things. They've been mentioned before: volleyball, basketball, archery, gymnastics, pickleball, meetings, parties, reunions. I mean, the list could go on, but it addresses people of all ages and all, social circumstances, whatever those are. We just want to know what we need to do to help this move forward, show up, we know, and we want to do that. But if we need to come up with a plan, we can do that. We've got people that can help us come up with a plan in black and white and show it to you. We can look at properties. We can do all the things we need to do. I think one of the reasons it may have fizzled out, other than money, is that even though the interest is there, and we know it's been here a long time, people don't know what to do. Is it up to us to present this to you, or do you all do the work and we just need to keep asking you to do it? What do you want us to do? We're ready to do it. So
I think one of your questions was, what are my constituents saying? Well, y'all are my constituents. I think your family and Rich's family, and
yes,
most of y'all live in District 1. So, but y'all know how I feel about it. Y'all know I'm in support of doing something as well. But so what we talk about in fiscal court, magistrates, we can do work outside of court. We have committees and we work. But what we decide to do in court is executed by the judge's office. And so I think that, I think Judge Baker is, I don't want to speak for him, but just from our conversations, Judge Baker is willing to look into doing something more. He realizes that as well when he's out talking to people, that we need something more, I think. And I think the next step is that we've got to find a piece of property.
Right.
And I think Chris and Thomas said at the last meeting, we find a piece of property. As far as where that's going to be, I personally, want it to be in a high traffic area and kind of an open area with neighboring buildings and stuff like that, just because, security and just being seen. So, I have had conversations in the past week with maybe some opportunities on some property. I won't speak about that in open court, but I think it's all on our minds, and I think that we're all looking at maps and looking at PVA site and see who owns what, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to do this. And that's where I am with it. I've been looking at PVA and trying to figure out who owns what, and maybe we can have a conversation with them. Mm-hmm. There is one opportunity possibly, that I could be having a conversation with somebody for the next week. I don't, or the next week or two. But I think once we have the piece of property, then we can, we can hire a company that I've presented before to the court that will show us a preliminary layout or what phases would look like to develop something. So, I think that it's going to take time. I know it's not going to happen before the next court meeting.
Sure.
you know, it's definitely gonna take time, but also, it, you know, y'all's involvement is important, I think. I mean, I think, you know, Rich sending me an email, hey, what's the latest, or something like that, you know, that keeps my mind in the right, you know, keeps me fired up about trying to do something. Okay. So I appreciate, you know, Rich reaching out to me and emailing me, and y'all coming to court and talk to us about it. I think this, you know, like I said, this is the second group of people that's really trying to push something, and I feel like y'all are, y'all have good intentions and your heart's in the right place. So, like I said, I think right now, I think some of us are trying to figure out where we're going to put this.
Okay. So showing up for court meetings, does that need a group here? Need a few here? What's the best plan? We don't want to be a nuisance. This
is the county's meeting. This is the public's meeting.
Okay.
I mean,
This is your meeting to show up if you want to express.
And if you just want to say it, you can. If you want to, this is time. You know, like you're doing
well,
right now.
To show that the interest is not fizzling out.
Exactly.
We don't want
Absolutely.
that. We think this is something that, I mean, we're older. I mean, we're considered the older generation now, and we think this is something that could benefit us, assuming it happens in the next 20 years or so. But not only us, but we're thinking, I mean, how long is the Ag Center going to be here? It's here. It's a fixture.
Right.
We think this could be a fixture for many years to come and benefit lots of people long after all of us are gone. So that's what we want to do. We want to do something, you know, I think all of us would agree that anything we do to invest in our home is a positive thing and for the betterment. So this is our home.
Did you all, excuse me.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, what about?
At the last meeting, when this was brought up, did you have a minimum acreage you were looking for? Because I'm thinking what you're talking about is very large.
Well, you know, we didn't know. I mean, what we've seen in places that we attend, we go other places, and a lot of people that we talk to go to other places to participate in activities that aren't available here. Through schools, obviously schools and churches have their places, but we're talking community-wide. But we were told we needed to look at no less than 100 acres, maybe even 125 acres, you know, because it's something that we would need space to expand in the future.
Yes.
More than just what a specific
I think when
complex
Thomas and I went to Ephraim White a few years ago and toured that facility, I think it was 85 to 100, I think was the acreage out there.
You're looking at a big area for parking alone.
Yeah.
As well as a building, and then outdoor
And then
facilities to be
everything in
added.
phases, you know.
I mean, there's disc golf, there's running trails, biking trails, you know, all kinds of things that could be added if you start with the building and the facility itself, so.
You know, as it was stated in the last meeting, something like this is going to take time.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not going to
We
be
understand
something
that.
we can.
Not an overnight issue.
It's not an overnight issue. I think one of our biggest things is finding a location.
Yes.
But with that location, we also need to have kind of a plan of what would be there.
Right. Okay.
So just bear with us.
Okay.
I think this has caught the attention of the court, and we're all mostly interested in it.
Well, and the forward thinking of the court, some of these members were on previous courts, and then previous members had the forward thinking to say, hey, we need to put aside money.
Right.
So that money isn't as big a question as it once was. Oh, this is going to come out of our pocket. But now it's been put aside. So we think that's a great opportunity to use that. So thank you all so much for letting me come and speak to you. And, yes, and we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any old business? Not, we'll move on to new business. Number one, discuss the request for from Logan County Airport. On your iPads, you should see a letter of a request for the amount of $19,000. I think this is Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a yearly contribution, correct? It's a budgeted item for the $19,000. It was just a letter from the airport asking once again for this.
Absolutely. I tell everybody every time I get a chance, it's the most important paved mile we have in Logan County, and if anybody doesn't go out to the facility, I know our roofing company, we'll have probably 3 meetings a year and take our group out there and use their conference room. They rent it, small fee, $40 for the day. It's a great place to do that, and just be exposed to maybe an industry that most people just, one, don't care about or know that exists, but you can go out there and see how it impacts you and affects you, and I encourage you to do that, and it brings a lot to our economy. A lot of our industries rely on that airport for multiple things. When things break and have to be flown in immediately, that gets used. We have a lot of agriculture. That we have one company out there, a local gentleman who sprays, and he not only does it here locally, but I mean he'll go to Indiana, Illinois, and he's got a spraying operation that he does from an airplane. It's pretty neat. So anyhow, I think that it is money well spent, and hopefully in the future talk about increasing that. But anyhow, that's the request for the day.
Aren't they still a 4,500 foot runway, and they're wanting to get up to 5,000 with the other 500 feet?
That's right. I think
and then
that's,
that opens up the door to whole other larger.
Correct.
Longer the runway, the bigger the plane. Just basically.
They've done 500 feet towards 100, but they want to need 500 feet to the other end.
That's right. And that next expansion going that way is going to require some land acquisition, and so I think that's been in plan for a while, but obviously that takes money, and they're just working towards that.
So this is budgeted, so does it even require any action?
Yeah, we just make a motion to approve it, and that's what it is.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? Not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Judge, while we're talking about the airport.
Yes, sir.
There is a motion from way back when, probably 6 or 8 months ago, we had a tractor that was giving us problems, and we bought a new tractor and we purchased the new tractor. The motion was made and carried by unanimously by all the court members that when that tractor got repaired, we would donate it to the airport.
Yes, sir.
Since that motion and today, there's been numerous problems with that tractor going back and forth. They do have it fixed now, but Kelly had made a suggestion to donate a different tractor.
Yes, sir.
And still the same size, probably like in size and what it's worth. It's not like we're giving them a better tractor. Matter of fact, this tractor's a little older. It's an older tractor, but it's still a great tractor. All they do out there is bush hog. They bush hog and that's it. And so George had met with Kelly and looked at it, and everything was
Correct.
fine. And so I'm fine with that change. It just probably needs to be done in a motion that
Okay.
we swap the tractor that was in the motion, because it had the VIN number and the whole 9 yards with
Okay.
this other.
Well,
I don't have that.
I don't have that VIN number either.
Kelly
I'll tell you
had it,
what,
but he left.
Kelly had to leave with all the flooding and such. They had a lot of work to do. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get with Kelly. Kelly had all that information. I'll get with Kelly and we'll do it next meeting.
Yeah,
We'll make,
We'll rescind that up. We'll have to rescind the motion.
I don't think we have to rescind it. I think just make a motion to swap VIN numbers,
yeah, we'll
model and VIN number.
we'll take a look at it. I'll make sure we get that on the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. So I guess we had our motion. Roll call. We're good on that. Okay. Number 2, approve the previous signed 2023 illegal dump grant application.
Oh, we did?
Agreement.
We've already taken care of that.
Okay, we've already. All right, approve the previous signed 2023 illegal dump day grant agreement. I think, Nathan, you want to come up and kind of give another little.
Sure. Now, Olivia, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think what happened, Judge Schick signed it, but it wasn't approved by the court. And what Judge Schick signed, or any judge signs, has to be approved by the court.
He asked the court to approve
Right.
Right.
So it was, the application, I believe, was approved, but not for him to sign it, is that correct? So it's just a clerical fix? The agreement, right.
So I guess we just need a motion to allow,
We've actually already received the money, so.
basically receive the money, absolutely.
Make a motion to allow the judge to sign the 2023 legal opened up grant agreement.
Second.
All right, do we have any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford, Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Item number 3 is approved to advertise for bids for a new half-ton crew cab truck for the Logan County Road Department. This was in their budget. They were gonna buy it off state contract, but at this point, there are no vehicles allowed on, they can't find any on the state contract. So we made the suggestion of at least putting it out for bid just to see where the money's at and see if we can actually find a truck. They're pretty desperate. I wouldn't say desperate, but pretty bad need of another vehicle out there.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second that one.
And I have a second. Do I have any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. The next one is acknowledgement to approve the emergency roadside repair on Iron Mountain Road. I believe that work has been 100% complete. Is that correct, Jason?
Yes, sir.
I think it looked good. I just need a motion to accept it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to acknowledge the approval of the emergency road slide repair.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Do I have any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 5, approve the Logan County Clerk's fee recap for August of 22 through December 31st of 2022.
So moved.
If there was any questions, you could, but.
Yeah.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Do I have any question? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Number 6 is approve Logan County Clerk's final settlement for August 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Have a motion,
Second.
and I have a second. Do I have any other discussion?
So, just a point, so the top of that form there says January to December, then the bottom says August. So are the numbers there for 4 months or for the 12 months?
No, those numbers cover August 1 to December 31, because the prior months fell under Scott's administration.
Right. I just saw that on the top, said January to December. so I was
Yes, that's
curious.
just the standard.
That's
format
last year.
For this particular report.
Scotty, was that the last?
Yeah, Scotty came in last month with the August through December.
January.
January, sorry.
Yeah, we did that last month.
January.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if these numbers in here
Yeah, I
was
see
a
what you're
combined
saying.
total
Yeah.
of all 12 or just the
No,
last
that's
4?
not a combined total.
Okay.
You sure that's not a combined total for 12 months? $3,100,000 and some odd dollars is typically y'all's yearly, isn't it?
Around about, there's been a major influx of receipts, vehicles, everything.
Okay.
So this just covers the months that Stacy's been on.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
So it'd be like 9 million if it was for the year, right?
All right, any more discussion? Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 7, approve approve the 2023 rental agreement with Luxurious Restrooms previously signed by emergency executive order. This was for when the boilers went out in the jail. This was to a week's worth of rent for shower facilities, mobile shower facilities. This, I think they worked, Mr. Trimmer's here from the jail, Chief Deputy. These worked well, correct?
They did work well, extremely well. We only had to utilize them for about 3 days.
Okay.
And we got the boiler repaired.
So one of the boilers is completely repaired?
Yeah, the top one is completely repaired, and we got a shipment yesterday of our property sealer, and our surprise, the boiler was on the truck with the property sealer.
Good deal, good deal. So basically what this was, like I said, the emergency, the showers that we had to have. There was no hot water, and we were not sure if it was going to take two days or 2 weeks at that point to get the boiler up and repaired.
I'll make a motion to approve the rental agreement with Luxurious Restrooms.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford, Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Chief Deputy Trimmer, thank you. Number 8, approve the proposed agreement and resolution for rural secondary flex program funds for the amount of $242,302.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Do I have any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Number 9, approve change order with CrossPath Telecom Networks for 2 additional phone lines at the Logan County Detention Center. Do we, Scott?
One of those is for the new captain, Todd Burchett.
Okay.
And the other one is for the attorney's room.
Yes, sir. So they can do attorney visits and interviews and everything over telephone. There's not actually a phone in the attorney room right now. We're just trying to get one in there to utilize that room.
What's the second one for, you said?
Captain Burchett, he's going to be in charge of all of our training at the facility, and his office right now currently doesn't have any phone lines or anything in them.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the change order with CrossPath Telecom to the 2 additional lines.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. All right, number 10, hold a public road hearing for the purpose of changing the name of Coles Road located in District 4 to Cody Road.
Do you need a motion to approve the name change?
Yes.
Make a motion to change the name of Coles Road to Cody Road in District 4.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any other discussion? I don't see that there's anyone here to disagree with that name, so if I don't have any other discussion, let's please have a roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Just note that we did recognize that there was nobody here for our public road hearing to offer any for or against for our road hearing. That needs to be in the minutes.
And Jason, you talked with people and also cleared up Ginger, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. She said when she was up here earlier, she said that everything was good on it.
I didn't think there would be any on that one. Number 11, hold the first reading of ordinance number 23-210-01, an ordinance amending the administrative code of Logan County. what
This is for your electronic signature?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. This is allowing the electronic signature on checks versus manually signing 114,000 a day. Maybe that's a little extreme number, but it's close.
All those right there.
Yeah, those. Well, no, checks for those. Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
pile of checks that she, but this is just to allow an electronic signature for that.
It also changes the inventory policy and asset policy.
Oh, from anything under $1,000, you don't have to.
Correct.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 23-210-01 and ordinance amending the administration code of Logan County.
I have a motion,
Second.
and I have a second. Do I have any other discussion on this? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Okay, at this moment, we are going to go into executive session, cited 61.810C, pending litigation. There was one other matter, was that not correct, Joe?
It was just to discuss litigation against or on behalf of Logan County.
There we go. Thank you.
Make a motion to go in executive session.
Yeah.
I have a motion.
After the vote.
I have a second.
That'll vote. and then you cut it on.
Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford, Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, out of executive session, post agenda.
Well, we need to let Thomas report back and make a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Executive session.
So I would like to make a motion authorizing the judge to sign the agreement doc for the opioid settlement.
Second.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion on that? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Joe, I got a question.
Yes.
So the 137,000 I'll round up that we received, do you know what the basis was that we drew that 137 from in that settlement?
We can figure it out, and there are calculations.
Well, I mean, if we just knew what the basis was, like that came from a settlement
Yes.
that was paid.
We have a percentage figure, but then it's also divided by number of years. But then also my thing with this is, do we have others coming? So that's where I'm getting it, trying to see, I think there is still some process going through. And again, there is going to be a regulation passed. So I think in that period of time, we can get a budget. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I was just curious, like, did that come from a $100 billion settlement? Or did that come
I want to
from
say
a
the first two that we've
200
gotten
million?
were the bigger settlements, but they were also over longer periods of years, so that's what's going to
Right,
make.
that's the reason I just want the basis number.
I don't know, I don't have that off the top of my head, but it's a big number.
So we can kind of get an idea of what we're going to get from the other ones. Yeah.
Was that about 15 billion? The others he rattled off, or 20?
Yeah. All together, you're saying?
Yeah.
Probably 15 or 20.
8.5 plus 13.5 plus 18 plus, so a little, probably looking at 20 billion over different periods of years. And then there's also kind of a, looks like a carve out for maybe trading, like them fronting a Narcan contribution or something like that in lieu of the full settlement. But about 20 billion for this amount.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, now we can move on to post agenda. Joe, do you?
Oh, yes, and as I touched on last time, we do have to give Silicon Ranch some lending institutions or bonding companies that could host the decommissioning bonds that we will also be insured on as a part of the Public Service Commission's orders authorizing the moving forward with the project. I've spoken with Thomas a little bit outside of court on this, as well as the judge, and I think we kind of feel it would be proper for our local banks that have established offices here, any of those that are capable of hosting that, we would be fine with. So if that is agreeable with you all, I was just going to ask if you all could authorize Judge Baker and myself to compile a list of those banks and write that in a written letter to them, letting them know they could contact these companies.
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Do you guys have any other discussion on that?
How much is the bond capacity for and how long?
It'll be through the life of the project. I'm not exactly sure what the exact figure is, but there's a state calculation that determines that.
Does it get revisited and adjusted periodically?
I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know.
Yeah, it does. I'll forward it to you. And, I mean, it's a long document, but it's a sliding rule, and it obviously is more. Actually, it's backwards. It's less year 1 than it is year 40 because of the resale value.
Right.
I can't pronounce that, but photo sales. So if year 1 they go broke, there's a resale value to that sell because there's still life left. In year 40, there's none, but it still costs the same, right, to tear it down and decommission it. So, yeah, it's,
Is there a responsibility on verifying that it's always there?
I think there is, but that's also one reason why I was wanting somebody closer to home that we could have that relationship with and be able to do that more easily.
I guess what I'm asking is like whose responsibility is like, oh, it's still,
Well, I
the
mean-
fund's still there, you know, is that, whose responsibility does that fall on?
I think the state would have a role in that, and then also I think the institution, I'm assuming they would have some as well.
It would almost be like the state and the county would need to be payable on the note, and if it got not paid, that we'd be contacted or something.
I guess it's like, is it like a certificate of insurance you get?
I think it would be.
Certificate issued every year that's in the name of.
I think it would be similar to, my thought was, and I'm not an expert in these areas, but you actually might be as an engineer and Thomas as a contractor, that similar to the bonds that you've got to get for other projects to make sure that all the obligations are fulfilled. So.
I'm not familiar with this particular bond, but it is a bond. You and I deal with a little different bond. It's for that project. That life of that project's anywhere from a few months to maybe a year or two. You know, school might be 2 or 3 years, and then once, and as that work, so it's a $10 million bond, and as the work progresses, the liability is going down, right? Because the school is completing, you're buying a bond to complete the work. Well, this one's a little different because you're buying a bond to demo the work, right? You're not buying a bond to see that the job is installed. You're buying a bond to see it's decommissioned. And so it doesn't ever go possibly into effect unless A, the company goes broke and you want to get rid of it, or B, it's end of life and the company's broke and they won't financially decommission it itself. So the way I'm reading it, it's like it's a bond product, but it's a loan, and it's like a letter of credit that we're going to lend you up to $12 million, and for the life of this project, which is 40 years, and the certificate holder is going to be the state of Kentucky and the Logan County Fiscal Court.
And my question is really just more of, after this thing is built, I'm sure we'll never think about this again. And so I just wondered, like, well, who's...
Well, I petitioned, not tooting my horn or nothing, but when they were doing all this and the state was talking about it, I was like, y'all ain't got the best track record of keeping up with people's bonds. Coal mining is notorious for being bought out, getting a bond so they can decommission the mine. It's good for 30 days, and nobody at the state of Kentucky ever looked at it again. And these bonds were taken out in 1972, and nobody looked at it again. So I said they need to be held at the local level. State, fine, if you want to keep it, but the local level needs
Peace of mind for you too. The landowners are also on this, so they have a very high interest in this as well. So there are a lot of eyes on this. Maybe most.
He said it'd be nice that whatever bank they use, like, hey, it's presented annually as an acknowledgement or something. If that's whatever, we acknowledge.
I just don't know, but my main thing was getting them somebody to start going with today.
Right. Yeah, I don't know any local banks that does that issues bonds.
Well, First Southern, I know does that. They have an insurance arm of their business, but I'm not.
It's in essence, I guess, like we take out a letter of credit.
That's the way I most was thinking about it.
Pennyroyal Electric requires us to put up a letter of credit with a local bank based on so many months of our power bill, and therefore it's a guarantee that the bill gets paid. So I think that's the exact same thing, and we do that through Lewisburg. So that's how I see it.
It's really a unique product. It's an insurance product. Is really what it is, not necessarily a traditional loan.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else? That's it. I got our motions, we had discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, next item, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.